Welcome back to the channel. This is LFC Plavi here, and it is Liverpool 2, Fulham 0. Home game at Anfield, a game that you would normally expect Liverpool to win, but given the recent form of Liverpool, there was a lot of trepidation surrounding this game. I wasn't very confident that we were going to win this game. I actually predicted that we were going to lose and there were going to be boos at the end of the game. But when we look at the lineup that slot selected for this particular game, Liverpool made 5 changes from the starting lineup against PSG in midweek in Paris. We had Mohamed Salah, the most notable absentee in that squad, or in the first 11 that played at Anfield, came back into the team against Fulham at the weekend. We also had Ngumoha starting on the left-hand side. And I'll come back to the exploits of this young man in this particular game, and also even throughout the season, how influential he's been to this Liverpool side. I mentioned a while ago that he should be starting more games for Liverpool. That was a while back, even during the first round of the Premier League. I said that he should be playing more. Of course, that was my view. The manager knows a lot more than I do in terms of where the player is at, is in his development, also in his fitness. And if he decided at that time wasn't the right time to play him, fair enough. Now he's playing well. I wouldn't go back and say that was a mistake, but I always thought that he should be getting more playing time. And now I think that has been the case in recent weeks. We also had up front Cody Gakpo in place of Hugo Ekitike, who started in the midweek game. This time it was Cody Gakpo who started as the number 9. At left back, we had Andy Robertson coming in to replace Kerkes in that position. And also at centre back, we had, so instead of playing the 3 back, we played a 4 back this time against Fulham. And as a result, Joe Gomez had to go. And we had at the back 4 was Konate, Van Dijk. On the right-hand side was Jeremy Frimpong. So that was the 4 back. So I think the other change, it came to me now. The other change was Curtis Jones starting in midfield with Soboslai instead of Gravenberch in there. So the deep lying midfielders were Gravenberch, Soboslai and Curtis Jones. And they had Vets playing ahead of them. So that was the lineup. And I actually predicted that was going to be the lineup for this game. I predicted there were going to be at least 4 changes in this particular game, and that is what we saw. And I think that is very good to have that leeway and the flexibility to take players out like Hugo Ekitike and still win the game. For me, that is a plus. It is always good to be able to change things and still play well, compete, and win the game in the end, especially in the home games. I have always thought that managers have the flexibility to make changes during home games, and that is what Slot did in this particular game. Now, at the beginning of the game started, I wouldn't say very good for Liverpool. It was in the balance. Maybe in the first 3 to 5 minutes, Fulham were in the ascendancy more often. We were kind of struggling to build up, but I think we settled it down after about 5 minutes. We started getting players like Salah and Ngumoha into the game more and more, and I think that is what led to the first goal. We kept giving the ball to him. He also had the overlaps and the underlaps from Robertson, and they were linking up quite well. And in that first 10 to 15 minutes, I think Ngumoha actually was the only creative spark that we had. We are still not a good team going forward. That has always been the case, and even more so in recent weeks for Liverpool. But Ngumoha was a constant threat for that Fulham defense. So he got an opportunity on the left-hand side of the 18-yard box of Fulham. He had two players trying to close him down. He dummied them, took the ball to the left, and came back to his right. Shimmied, pretended he was going to shoot, didn't shoot, took it back again to his left, and brought it back again to his right. So I think that was what displaced the defenders that were trying to mark him, and he was able to get a shot away. And that was an excellent shot. When you see it back, you realize how good that effort was, and no wonder it ended up in the bottom corner of Ben Leno's post. So that was how we got the first goal. And I think the manager said this in his post-match press conference, that goals do change games, and that has always been the reason why I think a lot of people question Liverpool when we throw away the first half. Usually we go into the first half and just dilly-dally. We try to size the opponent up, not show our hand, try to make the game a non-entity or a non-exciting game, and then we try to win the game in the second half. That, I think, is not a good strategy. You can do it once or twice within the season, but if that is your go-to strategy, for me, whether it is planned or unplanned, it is not a good thing to try and do. So we got the first goal, and that actually gave us the vigor. It gave us the freedom to play, to string passes together, to interchange, do the one-touch passes. Liverpool were doing that very well. We were really keeping it tidy, keeping it simple, keeping the ball moving, making the ball do the work rather than trying to run with the ball. But for the most part of the season and for this game as well, we were not doing that in the right areas. It is all well and good doing that in the middle of the pack, but that doesn't really yield anything. For me, I think it is more important to do that in the final third. So that is why at times I do criticize Florian Wirtz a little bit, because he's that kind of player who wants to play that way. Quick, intricate passes here and there, pass and move. He does that very well, but I want him to do it more in the final third. I think that is where we need that kind of sharp interchange of play. So you kind of slow it down, slow at the back in the middle. And then once you get into the final third, it is quick play to bamboozle the opponent. And we haven't done that well enough. We have always kept it slow from the back to the middle and into the final third. So I think that is something that needs to change. It is obvious. I'm sure the manager knows it. The backroom staff knows it. Maybe it's just not working, and they just need time to be able to figure that out. So we were doing that very well, and that actually led to the second goal, which also involved quite massively Ngumoha getting into the box from the left-hand side, trying to get past his marker. And I think the ball bubbled around a little bit and ended up with Mohamed Salah, who slotted it home. First time, it was a first-time shot. It wasn't quite a volley. I also don't think you can call it a half volley, because it wasn't really in the air, but it was just bubbling on the ground, and he just smashed it. The keeper didn't realize the ball had been smashed towards him until it had actually passed him. So by the time he dived, the ball was already gone, and it was in the bottom right corner of his goal. So that is how Liverpool got the second goal. And after that, there wasn't really much happening. I think also worth noting is that in that first half, Curtis Jones went off injured, quite unfortunately, because I think he played well in this particular game. He was really dropping deep to receive the ball and progress the ball. So he was sort of the first go-to person in terms of our build-up play from the goalkeeper and the centre backs. They were always trying to move the ball from the back through Curtis Jones, and I think he did a good job keeping the ball and keeping it taken over. But he got injured and he had to go off in that first half. Slot decided not to make the change because it was almost halftime. I think it was about the 44th minute when Jones went out. So they waited until the halftime whistle and decided to make the change at the beginning of the second half. So Gravenberch came in to replace Jones in that second half. And in that second half, it started quite quickly from the point of view of Fulham. They came in quickly to try and get something very, very early on. They created a couple of chances, but that also meant that the game was quite open because Liverpool had opportunities to play on the transition, win the ball back in deep areas, and try to hit Fulham on the counter attack. And I think all season, this has been one of our major issues: transitional play. We have been very, very, very poor in our transitional play. And that is what we did very, very well last season when we won the league. You can remember the goal against Brentford at home, where I think it was Luis Diaz who scored that goal. There were so many counter-attacking goals that Liverpool scored. We didn't have to build up the play from the back and try to progress the ball into the final third and score. Most of our goals came from transitional play. Transition as a result of winning the ball in high areas or in the middle, or winning the ball in deep areas close to our goal, and then moving very quickly with quick passes, 1-2 touches, and we are in the opponent's penalty area. We haven't done that very well this season. We have been absolutely atrocious at doing that. And that actually played to the advantage of PSG in midweek when we went there to play a 5-back. We didn't carry any transitional threat. And I think that is why we lost the game, and not necessarily because of our way of defending. Because if you are defending and just defending for the sake of that, then you give the opponent every encouragement to keep coming at you. But if you carry a transitional threat, they are always cautious when they are attacking you. But we didn't carry that. So, and that showed again in this Fulham game. We didn't carry any transitional threat. Our transitions were very, very poor. We got into very, very promising positions in the final third, but the final pass was wrong. Always, it was either overhit or underhit, or just the decision making was absolutely atrocious. That is why we didn't get any goal in that second half, because we had so many opportunities. Fulham were leaving spaces at their back. We had a lot of space to exploit. A big, big, big culprit. I don't like singling out players, but sometimes you have no option but to single out certain people. Cody Gakpo. The least said about him, the better this season. He's been poor. And yesterday, I couldn't count the number of times Cody Gakpo had the opportunity to lay a pass to either Salah or someone else in the penalty area. And he decided he wasn't going to do that, but he was going to smack the ball into a defender. And then we lose possession. That was exactly what happened. Cody Gakpo has been a big, big, big problem for Liverpool. On the transition, he's been atrocious. I don't know what is happening to him, but that was the story of the game. It was a win for Liverpool and a clean sheet as well. It's been a long, long time coming since Liverpool kept a clean sheet in the Premier League. And now the race is on. Chelsea play against Manchester City. And I can already tell you that Manchester City won the game 3-0. So now it is all in our hands. We just need to keep going and make sure that from now till the end of the season, we don't slack. We keep pushing and making sure that we get this Champions League, because that is the only thing we have to play for this season. The Champions League is over. We are not getting a comeback against PSG. Maybe some of you believe, some Liverpool fans that I am in a group chat with do believe that Liverpool can go through. I don't believe we can go through. One, I'm going to give you the reasons. The reasons why we can't go through. One, we are not good on the transition. Two, when it comes to actually playing the ball from the back, moving the ball and trying to create chances, we haven't been good this season. And in recent times, we have been absolutely poor trying to do that. So I don't see how we are going to score 3 goals against PSG at Anfield. We might win the game. That for sure. I do think we will win the game at Anfield, but I don't think it will be enough to get through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Thank you very much for watching the video. Like the video. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button if you are new here as well, and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. See you, and take care of yourself. You never walk alone.